In this video, we will touch on the basics of using your TI-84 calculator. So your TI-84 calculator looks like this. To do basic calculations on your TI calculator, you will notice the standard add, subtract, multiply, and divide buttons on the right-hand side. If you would like to evaluate the calculation, you press the Enter button. There are some special calculations you can do. If you would like to square something, there's a square button. If you would like to take the reciprocal or the -1 power, there is a special button for that. For all other powers, we will use the exponent key or the caret key. It's pretty much the universal symbol for exponents. Okay. So let's look at some basic calculations. You will notice as we're doing this on this screen, you will see the keystrokes that we use to do the calculation, so you can keep your eye on that. So for example, let's look at 9 times 5. Then we press Enter to do the calculation, and you can see 45. 6 squared. You'll notice on the screen it looks like 6 with a raised exponent of 2. Now, not all calculators will look like that. Your calculator on the screen might look like this. And that's okay. Some TI-84 calculators have a different interface. Don't let that bother you. And we press Enter to get 36. Now, if you would like another power, you will need to use the exponent key. Notice when you push the exponent key on your screen, it goes up into the exponent. So say we want the 5th power. Now you'll notice your calculator is waiting for more input on the screen. So if you are looking to type in the number, for example, the 58th power, you could keep typing. If you are done typing in the exponent, you just press the right arrow key, and that gets you out of the exponent. And you can press Enter. You might also recall that square roots and cube roots are fractional exponents, and if you would like to do fractional exponents, you can also do those. So for example, let's look at the cube root of 8. So 8 raised to the cube root is the 1/3 power. Let's be a little bit careful. Let's use our parentheses. So 8 to the 1/3 power, you'll notice we open and close with parentheses. And then we'll press Enter. You'll want to be very careful with your parentheses. Let's look at some examples here. So let's put in 2 plus 6 divided by 8. Now you're all familiar with order of operations. So this will do 6 divided by 8 first, and then add that to 2. With parentheses, however, you will get a different result. So here we have 2 plus 6 in parentheses, and of course that will give you a different result. So you do want to be careful with your parentheses. Now you'll notice our screen is getting a little cluttered, so there is the Clear button. We'll clear your screen for you. So let's press that. And while we're on the subject, the key history is getting a little cluttered, so let me clear that for you. Now, to save some typing, there are some shortcuts. If you had just typed something in on your screen and you'd like to recall it, you can use the Entry button. You'll notice that's above another key, so that is an example of a raised key. And raised keys are simply keys that are above other keys on the calculator. So you'll notice the entry key, it is blue, so you need to press the second key to activate it. You will also notice there are some green keys, and you will have to press the alpha button to activate those. Okay, so let's recall something we just typed in. So second entry, and you'll notice that it brings back to the screen the last thing we typed in. If you do it again, second entry, it will bring back the second last thing we typed in, and you can do this to go back to as many entries as you have on the screen. So let's evaluate that. Now suppose you would like to use the answer of a previous calculation in a new calculation. Well, there is an answer key, and again, it is a raised key, so we'll have to press the second button to activate that. So for example, second answer, enter 2. So for example, if we wanted to square the previous answer, we could do second answer squared. And we get 4. So you can recall the answer to a previous problem. Okay, let's clear the screen. Now, there is one other thing in the basic calculations that you'll probably find yourself doing, and that is converting decimals to fractions. Now, converting fractions to decimals is easy. If we wanted the decimal equivalent of 3/5, for example, we just type in 3 divided by 5. So there's the decimal equivalent of 3/5. If you wanted to go in reverse, you would type in the number, so let's do 0.45, and we want the fractional equivalent of that, so we will use the math button, and you can see there's a bunch of choices up here. We'll just use the math button, and you'll see frac is the first entry. So you can either push the enter key or press the number 1, because frac is the first choice. So you'll see on your screen 0.45 arrow frac, and if you push enter, it will give you the fractional equivalent. So you might find that handy. There are many other functions on the calculator. You can find that under the catalog feature. The catalog button is above the 0 button, and it is a raised key, so you need to press the second key to activate it. So let's do that. Second catalog. And it lists pretty much everything the calculator can do. And to move up and down the list, you can simply push the arrow button. Now there are many features here, so you might want to jump ahead alphabetically. You will notice on the calculator screen the symbol A there. That tells you that you are in alpha mode, so that you can quickly use the letters on the calculator. So to jump ahead, for example, if we wanted to get to the commands that begin with an F, we can push the F button, which you'll notice is right here above the cosine key. So if we push that, you'll notice we jump down to the F's. So that's a shortcut. Okay, so that is catalog, and again, you can see all these commands here. You can check your calculator manual, or you can just go online and Google it to find out what all these things mean. We won't be using most of these, but in other classes you might. So there is a brief run-through of the basics of using your TI-84. In future videos, we'll look at some of the other things we want to do in this class, but this is just something to get you started with the basics.